Welcome to another episode where we dive deep into the latest in recruitment strategies, AI innovations, and HR solutions. If you're looking to elevate your hiring game and stay ahead in the ever-evolving world of talent acquisition, you're in the right place. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you never miss an episode filled with insights, expert interviews, and actionable tips to transform your recruitment approach. Stay tuned for exclusive content designed to make your hiring process smarter, faster, and more effective.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to try to, crack the code of SaaS CEOs.
Oh, yeah.
What makes them different, what makes them tick, and more importantly, what should you be looking for
Yeah.
if you're out there hunting for a SaaS CEO? We've got a whole podcast episode plan that's just overflowing with insights, and we're going to break it all down for you today.
Yeah, think of this as your kind of like insider's guide to the SaaS world, like really understanding what makes a successful SaaS CEO in this crazy industry.
All right, so first things first, right off the bat, SaaS CEOs are not your typical CEOs.
Right.
It's not just about leading a company. It's so much more than that.
It's true.
They are often like knee-deep in product development, obsessed with keeping customers happy, and they're like masters of scaling up at lightning speed.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to me how much SaaS CEOs are really involved in like shaping the product, the direction, the roadmap. You know, they have to be really fluent in the tech, but they also have to understand the market dynamics, be so focused on customer needs. I mean, the product is everything in SaaS.
Yeah, and you can't forget about customer success in the SaaS world.
Oh, totally.
It's all about building those long-term relationships, making sure that your customers are getting like the absolute maximum value out of your product.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not just like a feel-good thing, right? Like, it's vital for the business. It's about survival. Think about it. SaaS companies thrive on that recurring revenue, right?
Wow.
And if customers aren't happy, they churn, and that hits you right in the bottom line. So a successful SaaS CEO gets that, and they build a company culture around it.
And then there's the scaling challenge.
Oh, yeah.
SaaS companies, they can explode in growth almost overnight.
Absolutely.
And that can put so much pressure on everything from your infrastructure to your teams to even CEO themselves. I mean, I've heard stories of companies doubling, tripling in size within a year.
Oh, yeah. It's insane. It demands a CEO who can adapt so quickly. Like, they have to be decisive. They have to be comfortable with chaos.
Yeah.
And be able to lead through constant change. And think about, like, building and managing a high-performing team through that rapid expansion.
Oh, my God.
It's a skill in itself.
Yeah. So, okay, the role of a SaaS CEO, we can see it's definitely unique.
For sure.
But let's get specific. What are the qualities and the skills that make someone successful in this very particular role?
Okay.
Our source material dives into a few key areas, starting with strategic vision and product market fit.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting to me. A top-tier SaaS CEO, they need this like panoramic view of the whole SaaS landscape. They understand how subscriptions work, the recurring revenue streams, how important customer retention is. But they also have this like almost a sixth sense for anticipating market trends, you know, and sniffing out these opportunities that other people might miss.
Yeah, and it all comes back to product market fit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Finding that sweet spot where your product solves a real problem for a specific group of people.
A SaaS CEO with a proven track record of achieving that product market fit is like finding a gold nugget.
Yeah.
They just know how to listen to customers, iterate on the product, fine-tune those features until customers are practically begging to buy it.
So true.
Think about someone like Stuart Butterfield of Slack.
Yeah.
He didn't just create another messaging app. He tapped into this like fundamental need for teams to communicate seamlessly. And he built a product that became like practically indispensable. It's amazing.
Okay, so strategic vision and product market fit, essential.
Totally.
But in the SaaS world, data is king.
Oh, yeah.
That's outright. So that leads us to our next key area, data-driven decision-making.
Okay, you can have the best vision in the world, but in SaaS, you've got to back it up with the data. A good SaaS CEO, they live and breathe metrics. They're not afraid to get in there with the numbers and use that data to inform like every single decision, from how the product is developed to marketing campaigns to sales strategies, everything.
And that means understanding the key SaaS metrics. Right.
Completely.
Things like churn rate, customer acquisition cost, and customer lifetime value.
Yep. Those are the vital signs of a SaaS business. Imagine you're looking at a CEO's resume and they highlight how they reduced churn by like 20%
Wow.
by analyzing customer cohorts, and they figure out that customers who engage with a specific feature in the first week are way less likely to churn.
Interesting.
That's actionable insight right there. A data-driven CEO uses that to refine their onboarding processes and improve that long-term customer retention.
Okay, it makes sense. But I gotta be honest, the thought of diving into all those spreadsheets and data points
Yeah,
makes my head spin a little bit. Not everyone's wired that way.
you're right. Not everyone is. But for a SaaS CEO, it's non-negotiable. They don't have to be a data scientist.
Right.
But they have to be able to understand the data, interpret it, and communicate those insights to the team in a way that drives action.
Yeah.
And that's where those strong analytical and communication skills come in.
Okay, so we've got strategic vision, product market fit, data-driven decision-making.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, in the SaaS world, it all boils down to one thing. The customer.
The customer is king.
That brings us to our next key quality, a customer-centric mindset.
Yes. And it's not just lip service.
Right.
This has to be a way of life. A successful SaaS CEO is obsessed with their customers. They understand that customer satisfaction is the lifeblood of growth and profitability.
For sure.
They're constantly looking for ways to improve that experience and build a company culture that puts the customer front and center.
So what does this look like in practice? What should we be looking for on a resume to know if they truly live and breathe this customer centricity?
Well, like for concrete examples of how they've used customer feedback in their decision making.
Okay.
Did they build systems for gathering that feedback? Did they actually listen to what customers were saying and then use it to improve the product or the experience? That's a good sign. And look for evidence of a customer-first culture. Maybe they empowered their support teams to go above and beyond, invested in customer success initiatives, or just fostered an environment where every employee knows how important customer happiness is.
Yeah, it feels like we're building this really detailed profile of the ideal SaaS CEO.
Yeah.
But before we move on, there's one more piece of the puzzle that I think often gets overlooked. Fundraising and investor relations.
Yes, the money game.
Yeah.
This is where SaaS CEOs need to excel, especially in those early stages, when funding can literally make or break the company.
It's high stakes, for sure. It's
Yeah.
not just about having a great product.
Right.
It's about crafting that compelling narrative, building trust with investors,
Yeah.
and convincing them to bet on your vision.
A SaaS CEO needs to articulate the value of the business in a way that resonates with investors. They need to show that deep understanding of the market and inspire confidence in their ability to execute. And that often means creating really detailed financial projections, building relationships with VCs, and navigating that complex world of fundraising.
It sounds like we've covered a lot of ground already. We've talked about the unique nature of the SaaS CEO role.
Yeah,
We've discussed some of the key qualities and skills that are critical for success.
absolutely.
But now let's shift gears a little bit and focus on the resume itself. What should we be looking for when we're actually evaluating a potential SaaS CEO?
Okay, well, our source material has this great little checklist
How perfect.
of things to look for on a SaaS CEO resume.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right in. What are some of those things that jump out at you right away?
First thing I look for, proven leadership experience, specifically in SaaS or technology. It could be experience leading tech companies, launching SaaS products, or even having a big impact on other tech organizations.
So it's not enough to just be a great leader, generally.
Right.
They need to have that SaaS DNA.
SaaS DNA. The SaaS world has its own challenges and opportunities. You need someone at the helm who gets it.
Yeah.
Think about leading a traditional software company with that one-time licensing model versus a SaaS company with a subscription model. It's a whole different game.
Totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
All right, so proven leadership in SaaS or tech must have.
Absolutely.
What else are we looking for?
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
Key metrics and achievements. This is how you get a glimpse into their actual impact on previous businesses.
Okay.
Forget those vague statements like, led a team to success.
Right.
We want to see numbers. Things like increased annual recurring revenue by 50% or reduced customer churn by 20% in a year.
Okay, so show me the receipts.
Yes, show me the data.
I love that. It's like the difference between saying you're a great chef and actually presenting a dish that makes everyone's taste buds explode.
Exactly. The data is the proof.
Okay, so proven leadership, quantifiable achievements. What about experience with scaling operations? Is that something we should be prioritizing?
Oh, absolutely. SaaS companies often experience rapid growth. So you got to have a CEO who can handle the challenges that come with scaling a business.
Right.
Look for experience building and managing those high-performing teams, streamlining operations, scaling infrastructure to keep pace with user or revenue growth.
So they need to be able to not just build a great product, but build a company that can handle crazy growth.
Yeah, think of it like building a rocket ship. You need a CEO who can design and build that rocket, but also pilot it through the intense pressure and G-forces of liftoff.
I love that analogy.
A SaaS CEO who has scaled a business before has already weathered those storms and knows how to navigate.
Okay, so we've got proven leadership, quantifiable achievements, experience with scaling operations. What's next?
Product and market expertise. We want to see that the candidate understands the market they're operating in, can identify customer needs, and has a knack for creating innovative solutions.
So they're not just a visionary leader, they're also a bit of a product whiz.
A CEO with product and market expertise can guide the product roadmap, make sure it's meeting market demands, and drive innovation to stay ahead of the competition.
It's amazing to see how these successful SaaS CEOs blend vision and execution with this deep understanding of the customer. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that I think often gets overlooked: soft skills.
Ah, yes, the soft skills.
These are often the intangible qualities that can make or break a leader, especially in a demanding role like CEO. So what specific soft skills are we talking about?
Our source material highlights 4 key soft skills for SaaS CEO: vision and inspiration, adaptability and resilience, empathy and culture building, and clear communication.
Okay, let's break those down. Starting with vision and inspiration. Why is that so important?
A SaaS CEO needs to be able to paint a compelling picture of the future, articulate a clear vision for the company, and rally everyone around that vision. It's like the magnetic north that keeps the entire company aligned and moving in the same direction.
It's not just about having a vision yourself.
Right.
It's about getting everyone else to believe in it as much as you do.
Exactly. Think about someone like Mark Benioff of Salesforce. He didn't just build a CRM platform.
Right.
He created a movement around customer relationship management and inspired a whole generation of entrepreneurs and business leaders to think differently about how they engage with their customers. That's the power of a leader who can inspire.
Inspiration is powerful for sure.
Yeah.
What about adaptability and resilience?
Okay, so the SaaS landscape is constantly shifting. New technologies emerge, market trends change overnight, customer needs evolve. A successful SaaS CEO needs to be able to adapt to those changes, make quick decisions, pivot the company's strategy when necessary.
Be agile.
They also need to be resilient in the face of challenges.
Yeah.
Building a successful SaaS company is not easy. There will be bumps in the road, failed experiments, unexpected obstacles. A great SaaS CEO bounces back from adversity, learns from mistakes, and keeps moving forward.
This all makes sense, but how do you actually spot these qualities on a resume?
Right. It's not like there's a line item that says adaptability or resilience.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can look for clues. Did they successfully navigate a company through a period of significant change? Did they launch a new product in a rapidly evolving market?
Yeah.
Those types of experiences can show adaptability and resilience.
Okay, two to go. Let's talk about empathy and culture building. Why are those important for a SaaS CEO?
Well, we've talked about how SaaS is all about the customer.
For sure.
A successful SaaS CEO needs to understand those needs and build a company culture that prioritizes customer success.
Yeah.
And that requires empathy. They need to put themselves in the customer's shoes, understand their pain points, appreciate their motivations. But it goes beyond just customer interactions. A SaaS CEO who fosters a culture of empathy within their team will create a more positive and productive work environment.
Yeah.
And that leads to higher employee retention, greater innovation, and a more successful business.
So it's not just about building a product. It's about building a team and a culture that cares about the customer.
Think about companies like Zapier or Help Scout. They're known for their great products, but also for their exceptional customer service and supportive company cultures. That doesn't happen by accident. It's because of leaders who prioritize empathy and understand that happy employees lead to happy customers.
I love that empathy is the foundation for building that strong company culture.
And that brings us to our final soft skill: clear communication.
This one seems pretty straightforward, but I'm sure there's more to it than meets the eye.
You're right. Clear communication is essential for any leader, but it's especially important for a SaaS CEO who is communicating with a wide range of stakeholders: investors, employees, customers, partners.
So they need to tailor their communication style to different audiences
Exactly.
and effectively explain complex information in a way that everyone can understand.
They also need to be skilled listeners, able to get feedback and create an open and transparent communication environment within the company. Think about how Satya Nadella transformed the culture at Microsoft by emphasizing empathy, collaboration, and open communication.
Yeah, that's a great example of how a leader's communication style can impact the whole organization. Well, it seems like we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive
We have.
into what makes a good SaaS CEO. We've talked about the unique challenges and opportunities of the role, as well as those key quality skills and those all-important soft skills.
Absolutely.
What's next?
Well, next we're going to dig into...
We've explored those core qualities and skills that really make a SaaS CEO stand out. But I kind of want to shift gears a little bit here.
Okay.
We've talked about how unique the SaaS world is.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about industry-specific experience. What kind of background should we be looking for?
You're right to highlight that SaaS is not just another tech sector.
Right.
It really operates by its own rules. And our source material emphasizes this over and over again. You know, a successful SaaS CEO often has this really deep understanding of the landscape that goes way beyond just general tech knowledge.
Okay.
It's like the difference between knowing how to drive a car and knowing how to fly a plane.
Got it. So we're looking for someone who's spent some serious time in the SaaS cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What does that look like on a resume?
Mm.
Well, first off, a background in SaaS, or very closely related tech industries,
Yeah.
that's a huge plus because it signals to me that they grasp those nuances of subscription models. They get the make or break importance of customer success
Yeah.
and how to build, a truly scalable infrastructure that can handle those crazy growth spurts that SaaS companies often experience.
Someone who's been in the trenches, dealt with that roller coaster of monthly recurring revenue,
Absolutely.
and knows how to keep those customers coming back for more. That's valuable.
But it's not just about understanding the mechanics of SaaS.
Right.
Market knowledge and positioning are crucial too.
Okay.
Because SaaS isn't like this monolithic entity, right?
Right.
You've got B2B, you've got B2C, you've got enterprise software, solutions for small businesses. Each of them has its own quirks and challenges.
And this is what I find really fascinating.
Yeah.
A CEO who's only ever worked in, say, B2C e-commerce.
Might not have the instincts to lead a company that's selling complex software to Fortune 500 companies.
The target customer, the competitive landscape, the sales cycles.
Yeah, it's all different.
You need someone who gets that specific playing field.
So on that resume, we're not just looking for SaaS experience, but like some indication of where in SaaS they've actually been successful.
Right, exactly. And here's another thing that I always find interesting, an innovation track record.
Ooh.
Now, I'm not saying every CEO needs to be the next Steve Jobs, but
But you want to see that spark of creativity.
I want to see that willingness to push boundaries.
Okay.
Have they spearheaded projects that brought something new to the market? Maybe they hold patents for innovative methods, or they introduced features that forced their competitors to completely rethink their strategy.
I like it.
Yeah.
So it's that difference between being competent and being a game changer.
Right.
Someone who's not just keeping up, but they're shaping the future of the industry.
Exactly. Now, obviously, not every successful SaaS CEO is going to have all these elements on their resume.
Right.
But the more industry-specific experience they have,
Yeah.
the better equipped they'll be to understand that unique landscape and to navigate those SaaS-specific challenges that inevitably pop up.
All right. So we've talked about the green flags, the things that make us go, wow, this person gets it.
Right.
Now, for the flip side, what are some red flags on a SaaS CEO resume that should make us hit the pause button?
The red flags, just as important as what to look for is what to avoid.
Okay, I'm ready to hear about the resume deal breakers.
Yeah.
What should send up those red flags?
First one that jumps out at me, lack of measurable results.
Yep.
We've touched on this before, but it's worth repeating. Anyone can say they're a successful leader,
Right.
but a truly effective CEO can back it up with hard data.
So if the resume is full of these vague statements like, led a team to success or improve company performance, but there's no actual numbers,
Yeah, vague achievements.
that's a problem.
Big problem. In the SaaS world, we live and breathe metrics. We want to see increased ARR by 40%, reduced churn by 15% within a year. Those are the kinds of results that demonstrate real impact.
It's like the difference between telling someone you're a great athlete and then showing them your Olympic gold medal.
That's it. Exactly. The data is the proof.
Yep.
Now, the second red flag I look out for, short tenures without clear achievements.
Okay, so how do we interpret a resume that shows someone hopping between companies every year or two?
Well, context is key. Sometimes short stints are totally fine.
Right.
It could be strategic career moves, or maybe they wanted to get more diverse experience. But if someone is consistently jumping ship without any accomplishments to show for it,
Yeah.
that's a red flag for me.
Makes you wonder, are they unable to commit to a long-term vision?
Right.
Are they struggling to adapt to different company cultures? Or maybe they're just not delivering the results?
Exactly. It's not about judging someone for having a couple of short stints.
Right.
It's about looking for a pattern that might suggest a lack of focus or commitment or the ability to see things through.
Okay, so lack of measurable results. A history of short tenures without any clear achievements. Those are two big red flags. What's the third one?
The third one is a heavy focus on non-SaaS industries without any significant crossover experience.
Okay.
This one is a little more nuanced, but it's important to consider.
So someone who's been a successful CEO in a completely different industry.
Yeah, like manufacturing or retail, but has never really worked in SaaS.
Okay, that might give us pause.
It would give me pause.
Hmm.
Because even though strong leadership skills are transferable,
Mm-hmm.
SaaS has its own rhythm.
Right.
Someone who's spent their whole career in a totally different world might not have that deep understanding of subscription models or customer success or that rapid pace of innovation in SaaS.
It's like trying to lead an orchestra when you've only ever played a solo instrument.
That's a great analogy. The fundamental skills might be there,
Right.
but the dynamics are completely different.
It's a different beast.
It's a different beast, you know? It's not impossible for someone from outside the SaaS world to succeed, but it definitely raises the bar for me. I'd need to see some evidence that they've taken the time to understand the SaaS landscape and those very specific challenges.
All right, so we've got our three major red flags. Lack of measurable results, short stints without those clear achievements,
Mm-hmm.
and a focus on non-SaaS industries without anything to bridge that gap.
These red flags are really just starting points, though.
Right.
Evaluating a CEO resume, it's a multifaceted process. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
It's about looking at the big picture,
Right.
considering the context, asking the right questions to see if this person is truly equipped to lead a SaaS company to success.
Exactly. And you know what? There's more. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on quite a journey here unpacking what makes a SaaS CEO tick. We've talked about their unique role, the essential qualities, the red flags to watch out for all those data points that make a difference.
Yeah, it's been eye-opening to see how these leaders combine strategic vision, data-driven decision-making,
Yeah.
a deep understanding of the customer to really navigate that dynamic world of SaaS.
But as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to touch on something we haven't really explored yet. We focus so much on the the skills, the experience, the metrics.
Right, the tangible stuff.
Exactly. But leadership, especially at that CEO level, it's about more than just checking boxes, isn't it?
I completely agree. It's like that saying, you can teach skills, but you can't teach character.
Mm-hmm.
There's something more, it's something intangible that sets apart the truly exceptional leaders.
You hit the nail on the head. It's that X factor that makes a SaaS CEO not just good, but truly great. And while it's hard to define, I think it's often what makes the biggest impact.
Okay, you've got me intrigued. What exactly is this X factor? Is it pure charisma, raw intelligence? Give me the secret sauce.
It's a blend of qualities, but I think it boils down to a few key elements. First and foremost, it's that innate ability to inspire and motivate others. We talked about vision and communication, but this goes deeper. It's about authentically connecting with people, building trust, creating a shared sense of purpose that everyone can rally behind.
So it's not just about having a vision yourself. It's about igniting that passion in your team, your investors, even your customers.
Think about someone like Brian Chesky of Airbnb.
Right, yeah.
He didn't just create a platform for booking a place to stay. He inspired this global community of travelers and hosts built on trust and shared experiences. That's the power of a leader who can truly inspire.
Inspiration is a powerful force for sure. What else is in this X factor mix?
Well, the SaaS world is all about disruption, innovation, taking risks. So a great SaaS CEO needs courage. The willingness to make tough decisions to challenge conventional thinking and really push the boundaries of what's possible.
So they need to be comfortable with uncertainty, see failure as a learning opportunity, and constantly push themselves and their teams beyond their comfort zones. No risk, no reward, right?
Exactly. Think about Elon Musk's drive to revolutionize space travel with SpaceX or disrupt the auto industry with Tesla. That's a leader who's not afraid to challenge the status quo and pursue those ambitious goals even when things get tough.
It's that bold leadership that can lead to some really groundbreaking innovations. What's the final ingredient in this X Factor recipe?
This one might sound counterintuitive, but I think a healthy dose of humility is crucial. The best SaaS CEOs understand that they don't have all the answers. They surround themselves with talented people, they empower their teams, and they're always learning and growing.
It's that idea of leadership as service, right? You're not there to be served. You're there to serve your team, your customers, the vision you're all working towards.
Absolutely. And this humility often translates into a willingness to seek out different perspectives, to encourage open dialogue, to embrace constructive criticism. Think about someone like Shantanu Narayan at Adobe,
Hmm.
who transformed this legacy software company into a cloud-based powerhouse. He did it by fostering that culture of collaboration and continuous learning.
It's remarkable how these qualities extend beyond just business success. They really shape the whole culture and ethos of the company.
It's true. And the amazing thing is you can't always see these qualities on a resume. They come out in conversations and the stories people tell about a leader and how they carry themselves and interact with others.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of SaaS CEOs, what are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Remember that SaaS leadership, it's its own unique breed. It requires this special mix of technical expertise, business acumen, that customer obsession, and those intangible X factor qualities that make a leader truly stand out.
Don't just get hung up on the titles and buzzwords on a resume. Dig a little deeper. Look for evidence of those essential qualities we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Strategic vision, data-driven decision-making, customer centricity, that track record of innovation and impact, and those all-important soft skills.
And keep those red flags in mind, those vague achievements, the frequent job hopping without clear wins, a lack of relevant experience in the SaaS world. Those are signs to maybe proceed with caution.
But I think the biggest takeaway here is that leadership is about so much more than just skills and experience.
It really is.
It's about character vision and the ability to inspire others to achieve amazing things. It's about creating a culture that fosters growth, innovation, and a shared sense of purpose.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of SaaS CEOs, but the exploration doesn't have to stop here. We encourage you to keep learning, keep observing, keep reflecting on what makes a truly great SaaS leader. Who knows? Maybe you'll even find yourself stepping into a leadership role one day.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest episodes and exclusive content designed to enhance your recruitment strategies.